What's going on, man? It's your boy, FFL Commissioner, Hyder Ali, man, with both of my dogs in the building who are happy as heck right now. You know what I'm saying? FFL player Rob in the building and the OG Connor in the building, who are both, you know, crazy, avid Jets fans. And, obviously,
Yeah.
you know, we all saw what just happened, man. Jets are signing Dalvin Cook to that 1 year deal that's worth up to, man, like 8.6 million, man. So that's money right there, man. And first of all, man, I ain't even gonna jibber jabber. I want y'all to tell me how y'all feeling, what y'all think is gonna happen. How does that affect fantasy for y'all or in general? As a running back whole situation with Breece Hall there, man. He coming up here, man. What he was doing last year before he got injured, man. Listen, what's gonna happen? What's gonna go on? Rob, go ahead. Connor, you can always chip in after Rob, or just go ahead, man. Tell me. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was super happy about the move. I'm one of the few. There's a lot of negative Jet fans out there that are still worried about positions that need to be filled, worried about the O line, but definitely happy. Couldn't have asked for a better running back to come in and help us out. He's dynamic. His numbers speak for themselves. Um, he's a good locker room guy, even though he has some kind of issue with the law, but that's another subject. But definitely happy with the move. Obviously, if it would have been something like the Zach Martin trade or something like that, would have been a way different subject. But uh, knowing that we have a short window with Aaron Rodgers, knowing that our GM is doing, his best to kind of formulate a team to bring us to that championship, even if it's not this year, hopefully next year, but definitely this year. And then that's why you see that 1 year move for Dalvin. Um, that 8.6, we really don't know the speculations of the contract yet. The incentives, what it might be. So definitely something to look out for. Probably more of that information is going to come out tomorrow. I don't know if you guys have seen anything. I tried to look at that before I jumped on, but so far I think just 8.6 is what we know. But yeah, super happy. I don't know how you feel, Connor, about the move, but yeah, super happy with the move.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm super happy. We don't know, how Breece is going to come back right away.
Right.
Definitely don't want to give him like 20 carries a game right away. I like Michael Carter a lot, but I mean, when you can bring in a guy like Dalvin Cook, you got to do it. You got to do
Gotta
it.
do
I
it.
mean, he's a 1,000-yard rusher last year. He had like 12 TDs last year. I mean, for any team, if you could bring in a guy like that, you have to do it. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers' window is short, so let's go all in. I love it.
Right.
Fantasy definitely takes a hit on there because I'm like, okay, Breece
Yeah.
might have been like a third or fourth round pick. Now he might be like a fifth or sixth, or he might even drop a little bit more.
Right.
Um, I would still pick him up personally if I can get him in the right round, just because I feel like when he's ready to go, he's definitely going to get his fair share, and he might even take the number one spot maybe midway through the season. We don't know yet. But yeah, I like the move a lot. I like how they're all in this year, and anytime you could bring in a player like that, you got to do it. So I'm happy.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously, him coming in there, and obviously, guys, whoever's watching this is why you draft late. All right. Some of you guys already put all this money
Hey man,
in,
I'm an
and
advocate for it.
yeah, I mean, some of you
Yeah.
guys you already put that money in, and like I'm talking about big money, and
Yeah.
now y'all, all y'all doing is like, farting in the bathroom. I mean, what can you do? It is
Right.
what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is why y'all, whenever you guys do fantasy draft, man, don't be one of those camel farts out there trying to be quick and early. You know what I'm saying? Just wait, do it. Last week August, beginning of September, and that's what these big boys league, FFL. That's what we do. That's
Right.
why
Mhm.
we are what we are, and that's why you see that TM under the logo. We ain't playing. So it is what it is. But listen, now we can talk about you know if Dalvin comes in here and Breece is there and Michael Carter. I mean, come on, man. These all of them dogs,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. That
All of
running
them are
back room.
dogs.
That
it's
running back room is heavy, man. It's heavy.
it's heavy, and it's obviously gonna be a committee. It's obviously gonna be a committee. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And how do you guys feel, man? I'm not even gonna say. I mean, who cares about even giving off hints? I mean, you guys are Jets fans. I mean, this is big boy fantasy. You're not gonna run with your emotions here. You're not gonna just be like, oh man, I'm picking Jets players in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Even though our draft's within a week.
Right.
What would you suggest for some of these newcomers out here if they got Dalvin up on the board and they got Breece Hall up on the board? Who y'all going for, man?
That's a tough one. That's a coin toss, to be honest. Like Connor mentioned, with Breeze coming back, you really don't know how he is going to come back. But at the same time, you take the gamble, right? You take the gamble of not picking up, potential. He could have been the offensive rookie of the year last year, right? If we're talking
I think he would have.
straight,
I really
yeah,
think he would have.
right. Yeah, I really think he would have. He was on pace for 1,000 yard, at least 1,000 yard rushing season. So it's definitely not something that I would want to be in myself for my strategy. But at the same time, if you're looking at long term, and if somebody's not drafting correctly or whatnot, and Dalvin Cook is there, let's say, I don't know, late third round. That's something, how do I feel? I don't know. I really wouldn't want to be in that situation. So definitely got to strategize better. I'd rather have Dalvin as a flex, in my opinion, than as a RB1, RB2, obviously. Now, if you're looking at what it's doing for Breece's stock, definitely has dropped a bit, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's not something that I would necessarily take a gamble on either. So, yeah, it's a tough position to be in if you're drafting, like, let's say, in the lower half of the first round, and you're going running back, or whatever your draft strategy is going to be.
Okay, yeah, nicely
Yeah, I
said,
mean,
man. Nicely said.
if I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably pick Cook just because I feel like he's going to be, the week one starter. Like he's going to be the running back in the backfield on that
Right.
first play.
Right.
But I don't know. It's such a coin toss because I really think Breece is going to hit his stride. Like they said, he's recovering really well. He's hitting like 22 miles per hour on the little speedometer they wear. They said he's on pace to play week one, so it's really tough. I'd probably just go with Dalvin just because I feel like it's a little bit of a safer pick. But I mean, honestly, like if we're talking third round, I don't know. It depends who's available. I'd probably stay away
Right.
from both of them just because I'm like, I don't know. It's tough. It's kind of like drafting like Pollard or Zeke. It's like they're gonna both get touchdowns. They're gonna both get yards. They're gonna both be in the backfield to start the drives. Any of those teams where they have two workhorses back there,
Right.
getting equal touches, it's kind of hard. It kind of like makes you think a little bit. But
Yeah. Now, what I would say is that I do like that comparison with Zeke and Pollard. With the comparison there, Dalvin Cook is going to have that pass catching ability, similar to what he was
Right.
doing for the
that's
Vikings.
true.
So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so that acquisition from the Jets front office, like you can tell, with the running back market that they had out there, what they wanted. Similar to what they wanted with the plan that they have for Arron Rodgers, which I know we'll get to in a minute. Bringing a running back that not only is replacing Breece Hall until he gets healthier, but it's a similar play style, right? His rushing capability and also his pass capability is what's going to put him in, like an easy transition for him to know the offense, for him to run that offense, and then for him to succeed in fantasy, if you want to call it
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
having that rush capability and that pass capability, that's going to be huge. So you're right. It might be a situation where you're looking at, game one, game two, and then, see how Dalvin is looking and, have him stashed. But I don't know if you're going to be picking him RB1, RB2. That's the question I would say I would steer away from.
Right. I mean, and not only obviously, I'm happy y'all got Dalvin, but there's a thing, obviously he's not always healthy, man. He's always hurt, banged up, and a guy like him coming in, Connor, you're not knocking on wood, bro. You're knocking on your picture. Do on the other.
It's
Do.
Oh,
wood. It's wood.
I
Oh,
got
it's
wood
wood.
right here,
Okay.
bro.
Okay, it's wood. I thought it was a little picture thing. Okay. All right, but see now. I'm happy for y'all, but it's still, it kind of itches me the wrong way. It's like, okay, man, like, Breece, got hurt last year, and Dalvin's, always banged up. Now I hope the best for for you guys, but Aaron Rodgers is not the quarterback you guys had last year, right? This guy likes to sling it. This guy likes to he like it's gonna be a different type of movie y'all gonna see this year, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you think, obviously Aaron Rodgers being there, do you think that, even forget about even Dalvin and Breece, do you think now you guys gonna turn into a little pass heavy team, and the rushing just might just be an average type of thing for you guys?
Not at
Uh,
all, because look back at the Packers seasons with Hackett as the OC. Back to our last conversation.
right.
That's when Aaron Jones got his big contract. Was
Right.
doing all those rushes with them, and they had a committee as well with Dylan. So you're gonna have, I think, a similar situation. I think they're all gonna eat. I think they're all gonna get their yards and get their catches, get their rushes. I mean, obviously you have to try to harness that season. It's not the same team. It's a whole different year. But like, linking up with Hackett, they had a nice balance, I thought. And that's how Aaron Jones got his big payday, was running through that offense. So I don't think so at all.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have
All
to
right.
say too exactly that. I mean, I think if you look at what Tom Brady did when he went to the Bucks, you know what I mean?
Right.
Very similar situation. He's, I think as quarterbacks, transition into that later part of their life, they know how to look at the game a different way, right? They're not putting the entire offense on their back, even though
Right.
sometimes it seems that way. I think for Aaron Rodgers and for like Tom Brady, they know what they need to have a successful season without having
Mm-hmm.
to put everything on their back. And one
Right.
of those things is having a well balanced offense. And when you talk about well balanced offense, you're looking at not just a bell cow, right? For a running back, but also a running back that can catch the ball, similar
Mm-hmm.
to what he had in Green Bay. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Aaron Rodgers had that big interest with the Jets, because he saw the pieces already in play. Remember, we had that joint practices with Green
Mm-hmm.
Bay last season, so he already
Mm-hmm.
knew going into free agency what the Jets had on their
Mm-hmm.
roster, what talent they had, and what
Right.
and what
Right.
and what the I'm assuming they spoke to the coach and the general managers and front office folks, and
Mm-hmm.
they knew exactly what the plan was going to be, what the vision was long term. So
Right. Hmm.
yeah,
Very,
And
very
Brees had that
informative.
phenomenal game.
right,
Like, Brees
Right.
went off that whole game. Rodgers is watching that.
right,
Right.
Rodgers is watching those linemen pull. He's liking what he
Right.
sees for the run blocking. I mean, you got to think back to that again, back to that season with Hackett over there. The pass opens the run opens the pass. It's all going to go together. And then what do you do when you're
exactly,
winning? What do you do when you're winning? You run the football, run the clock out.
Right.
So
right,
I think it's all going to come together. I really do. I think there are some, I am maybe one of those more negative Jet fans. Like, there are
yeah,
some holes that we got to take care of. We got to fortify the offensive line. I'm still
yeah,
thinking that, but
yeah. The
as
right
long
side
as
is
we
not
get
looking
that
good.
down, yeah, the right side's looking a little iffy. Max Mitchell, I had a lot of promise for him. He's not having the best of a camp, but I think he could turn around. But as long as we get that going, we keep everybody upright. Like, I think it's going to be a really well balanced offense.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I saw
Right.
this. I saw this kind of dispute this morning between I forgot one of those ESPN analysts, but they were just talking about capability versus availability. So that's the thing I think with the Jets. It's not that they're not capable, that that offensive line
Right.
is not productive, that they're
Hmm.
not going to be out on uh, it. It's the injury bug, right? Last year we had tons of injury on that
Hmm.
offensive line, and then also again, being weary that Aaron Rodgers does need time to mesh with that line, right? He does need time to make sure that they're listening to his cadence, that they're looking at spaces and gaps for these running backs to run through.
Hmm.
So all of that just takes a bit of time. I think
Right.
the advantage here is, number one, like I mentioned earlier, he's seen this offense before, right? He's played against them. had joint practices with them. He knows the talent that's already there. He knows the talent that he wants coming into the locker room as well, because he's been heavily involved with the draft process. Not with the draft process. I'm sorry, with the off-season acquisitions, and even these acquisitions with Dalvin Cook. I mean, he mentioned it in a few reports when people were out on media day and whatnot. So I mean, all these things kind of come into play as to how this offense is going to run long term. But yeah, definitely excited for this season, man. It's not your typical Jets fan these days anymore, man. It's a long time coming. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's same old Jets. They're gonna suck. Even my wife says like, they're gonna suck. Patriots are gonna blow them out. But now, I don't know, man. I'm still a little positive. Like I want to see some wins before I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
And like Connor was saying in the past podcast, he's seen a lot of movies. And Rob, you've seen a lot of movies.
Right,
Obviously,
yeah,
you guys are both on the same canoe. So
yeah.
I definitely understand that. And you guys were talking about your offensive lineman needs. From what being an analyst as well, I see that you guys need some tight end help, man. I mean, your wide receivers are set. I believe so. And Garrett Wilson and Arron Rodgers, obviously that's a different subject for a different podcast. But I mean, I feel like guys need some tight end help, man. I feel like last year you guys were I don't think you guys were kind of set on tight end positions. I mean, what do you think about that, man? What do you think you guys should do about the whole tight end thing for you guys?
Yeah, the tight end should answer that.
Tough. I mean, it's tough.
Oh yeah, there you go. Hey,
yeah.
Let's put a little shout out for Connor now.
That's an expert device right there.
Saint Elson.
Nah, I'm not a tight end expert. But
Saint Elson tight end in college, man. Let's talk about it, man.
but
Connor, you go ahead
I mean,
first.
it's tough because I feel like Conklin can be really, really good. I just feel like he has kind of that like contested catch problem almost. Like when he gets like guys on his back, like I feel like he just kind of like lets the ball come to him, or he lets guys crawl all over him. And I don't know if that's because he's a little bit of a slower tight end, so he's not getting as open. But I still think that he could step up. I mean, last year he had some good games, he had some bad games. Like the Vikings game really stood out to me because I'm like, that's your pass team. Like Mike White slinging it around, and you still can't perform. That really upset me. But he also had some good games. He had some really nice catches. So I think that they can make a comeback this year. I'm a little worried about it too, but I don't know. I think there's other stuff to worry about. And then CJ, I mean, he had some bright spots last year. He had a really good season with the Bengals, obviously. I think you guys probably remember that. He had some good playoff games, got hurt a little bit at the end, and then he was also banged up in last year, and then came back during the season. That's kind of tough coming back during the season if you didn't play too much in the beginning or too much in camp. So I don't know. I still have hope for those guys. Obviously, I'd like to see some better play from them, but I still have some confidence that they can step up and have a better year this year.
Right. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah. I mean, you definitely have some pieces that have been added, sprinkled on through the years, developing pieces. You have Kenny Yeboah. We just drafted that new guy, Kuntz, I believe his name is. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Then we have that other kid, too, out of Jersey. I forgot his name.
Jeremy Ruckert.
Jeremy Ruckert. I mean, so we got pieces that we're probably going to use. But, again, I don't know. It goes back to how this offense is structured. I don't think it's going to be, how Kansas City uses the tight ends, right? Or how other teams that are tight end heavy, or, it's a different type of offense. I mean, if you go back and look at how Arron Rodgers has used the tight ends in the past, it hasn't been his go-to, even though he does like Mercedes Lewis, for instance, and things like that. But yeah, definitely, like Connor said, wish those guys, can produce a bit more, can, have crazy fantasy numbers. I just don't see it though. I think there's so much, ball to disperse among, wide receivers, running backs are going to be catching the ball. So it's going to be tough to see, one tight end come out of this group and be that, star tight end. It's just going to be dispersed. And depending on how the plays are going to run, there's going to be a lot of blocking, a lot of heavy blocking. And that's what I like to see, is when tight ends can block and Connor knows this. I mean, when a tight end can block and catch, I mean, you're talking about productive offensive play here.
Right.
Yeah, and we paid them both. I mean, they're
Right.
both getting paid a lot. They're both going to be playing a lot. So if we're talking fantasy, yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere near them, even if they were playing a little bit better, because they're both
Right.
going to be stealing reps from each other, just like last season. So fantasy wise, I probably wouldn't go for any of them. I mean, maybe pick up Conklin on the waivers if you're really desperate for 1 week or something, but I wouldn't touch any of them for fantasy. And then, like you said, I don't think we necessarily need any of them to be catching, 100 catches this year. I think we just need them to catch the balls when they come to them in the end zone. Like if you're open,
Right.
catch the damn ball. If you got a guy on you, you need to catch the ball.
Right.
We have Lazard to catch those jump balls and those contested catches.
Right.
Obviously, we have great wide receivers sprinkled around. So I don't think we need to ask them to do too much. I think, like you said, Rob, they need to block good, which I think they're pretty good blockers. And then I
Right.
think they just need to make plays when they're asked to do it too. I just think they
Right.
need to get a few catches a game at key moments when they're open, because they're going to get open sometimes because you got all these playmakers around the field.
Right.
So I think they just need to step up when their number's called and do their thing, and then we'll be fine. I'm not worried about the tight ends. The
Right.
O line is really my only concern. Everything else, I mean, we have pretty much everything locked up. I mean, the safeties aren't the best, but it's really just fortifying those tackles and get this thing rolling. Get everybody gelled up, get everybody playing
Right.
together, get everybody on the same page so we can go win some games.
Right. No, I definitely agree on that. And Robbie, you were talking about, obviously how Kansas City's Chiefs, the tight ends work over there, obviously Kelsey and all that. But remember, the quarterback was Mahomes. Now you guys have something that is a 5-star movie, right? Aaron Rodgers there now. And I think he's gonna help out, like you were saying, distribute the football everywhere. And I think maybe, obviously Conklin and CJ maybe that might eat. I mean, they got the
Right.
different dude.
Yeah.
They
There's a
might,
different guy. There's a different guy throwing to him, and obviously, if they're not like Connor's saying, Conklin was dropping those balls. If they do that with Aaron throwing, I'm sure they're gonna chew he's gonna chew their
yeah,
behind.
you're not
You
gonna
know
get
what
the
I
ball
mean?
anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly. So
you want to keep the defenses honest, right? Similar
right,
to what the running back position has kind of developed into. Years
right,
back, you didn't see tight ends do these type of things. Now put up Kelsey numbers, but now you're starting to see offenses being created that way. And if you look
right,
at what Kansas City does, they move the ball through the tight end position, which is very unique.
right,
If you look at their wide receiver groups, you really wouldn't draft any wide receiver from Kansas City, first round, right?
right,
You probably wouldn't even draft a wide receiver second round, unless
right,
you were talking about, Cheetah, but that was a couple of years ago.
right,
So, I mean, that's kind of like the only thing that I would say is the comparison. So again, it just depends on how your offense is, kind of set up to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think
right,
with us as Jets fans, it's pretty evenly dispersed. So, but you're right. With Aaron Rodgers being there, there's definitely somebody's going to, eat more than others. So I don't know if it's going to be Conklin. I don't know if it's going to be CJ, Kenny, Rucker, Kuntz. We'll see. I haven't really seen any flash yet. So
right,
we got
right.
to see who's going to step up in that group.
For sure. And now with let's end it with the Jets with Rob. What is your prediction of your guys' record this year, man? Gotta
Oof,
ask.
I can't do that, man.
I gotta
Uh,
ask, brother.
oh man, I don't
I gotta
know.
ask.
Jets record or fantasy?
No, Jets record. Jets record. You
Uh,
think about all this dramas y'all went through, and obviously, Commanders and you guys being the same thing. Everything. The names come in, and okay, man, there's gonna be something different. Add all that in there, put it in one bowl, stir it around.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be crazy. I'll probably say uh, I'm hoping for an 11-6.
that's
Uh,
exactly what I was gonna say.
yeah, like an
That's
11-6 type
exactly
of
what
Woo!
I was gonna
season.
say.
Okay.
But if not, I can see a 10-7 season as well, right?
Right.
So it just depends. That one game, it would just depend on who we're playing. Like I like what some of these teams have been doing, but I also like
Right.
how our division has been moving as well. Like if we talk about the Jalen Ramsey injury, that has impacted the Dolphins team tremendously, right?
Right.
With them paying so many players, them not being able to make these splashy moves. doing what we're doing, right? Solidifying that running back position. They really have gaps, a lot more gaps than the Jets do, especially question marks around the quarterback, right? Again, with the Patriots, having I forgot his name, Ramondre Stevenson. I can't pronounce it. That running back group is solid now with Zeke coming into that. So they definitely have a better plan, in my opinion. So I would say if we win the division, right, that's really what we should be focusing on first, is winning that division. If we win that division, then we can start talking about, Super Bowl aspirations or playoffs and things like that. So that division is really what I'm looking for, is how we come off of those big, divisional games, in my opinion.
Right. Okay, well said, man. Well said. And Connor, obviously,
I'm thinking 11-6.
11-6.
I'm thinking 11-6.
Cool.
I mean, obviously, I'd love to see like a 12-5, but I'm being realistic, and our schedule's really tough in the beginning. I think those first 4 games, I mean, we might just go 2-2, which is fine. But I could totally see us going 2-2.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that.
I could see us losing that first game in Buffalo. Like losing a tight game, getting people acclimated to the system, getting players yelled up. Then we go beat the Patriots, and we go beat the Cowboys. So I could see us getting into like not a rocky start, but just like an average start, and then finishing the season strong when the schedule gets a little bit easier, and then going 11-6. I mean, I think it'll be like between 10-7 and 12-5, but I think I think it's going to look like 11-6. And I'd love to win the division. I think we're going to definitely be close this year at winning the division. I think the Dolphins are going to be a challenge, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be us and the Bills, and we play each other twice. We play each other that first game, so it's really going to come down to those games.
We won the Bills with Zach Wilson, and I mean, so I think what people have to understand about the Jets here is the defense, right? We haven't even talked about the defense as much, but the defense is what really is going to set us apart. The acquisition of Will McDonald in that first draft pick this year, I mean, just adding to the defensive end group that we have, it's just, I don't know how offenses are going to be able to adapt to that rush, with just constant moving of that line. One guy feels tired, you add another guy right behind him, right? And then you're adding moves, you're adding spin
unlimited
moves,
depth,
you're adding unlimited depth at that position. So scary.
Very scary. What gets me excited too is, like you kind of hinted at earlier, like this is with Zach Wilson playing, right? Like, okay, he's playing on offense, but if you are a hardcore Jets fan like Rob and I, and you watch those games, you watch Zach Wilson go 3 and out, not even get a first down. So yeah, we had depth. We can rotate players in and out, so they're maybe not breathing hard, but they're still on the field a lot. They're still going back on the field right away after they just, shut somebody else down. So if they can get a breather, if they're on the field less, they'll probably perform better. So I think that they're going to probably play better this year than last year, because they're not going to be asked to do it all. I mean, last year, think about that Patriots game, Rob, when we were in New England. I mean, we couldn't do a damn thing on offense, and the special teams for the Patriots won them the game. That's how well the offense, the defense played, and how bad the offense played. And yet the defense still played their tail off, even though the offense couldn't do anything at all. The defense still shut them out.
We were still in that game all the way to the end.
Going back on the field, dumb decisions, 3 and outs, easy picks. Defense like, all right, I'll go shut them out, whatever.
Right.
So now,
and that's what.
Go ahead, Rob. No, I'm done. Go ahead, Rob.
I said that's what I love about this team, is that it's built in a way that, no matter what phase of the defense you're looking at strong. That's why the safety position is not so much of a concern, in my opinion, or the linebacker position, is because our defensive ends, our defensive front, our corner positions, they're top tier in the NFL. When you're talking about Sauce Gardner shutting down one half of the field, with Revis Island being similar, you have to plan around that, right? And when the quarterback, and when you're looking at quarterbacks that are not seasoned, or they're rookie quarterbacks, with like the Panthers a preseason game here, you're going to see those type of rushes coming at you, because that side of the field is locked. So, I mean, we're only going to be really close in games with teams like Buffalo, right? With teams like what I'm saying with other teams that have fast wide receivers or fast offensive weapons that can move through the field easily.
I mean, don't Rob. Let me add
so,
to that. No one's gonna be running through that line. I'll tell you that. So
right.
it's definitely gonna be one of those tough for the opposing teams with the running backs, and I definitely agree on that.
Don't forget about DJ Reed.
I
DJ
mean,
Reed's a
DJ
dog.
Reed. He's a dog, man. Dog. He's so cerebral, bro. I mean,
He goes under the radar.
Yeah, under the radar. I mean, because he's soft spoken and he's not like a cheesehead,
Yeah, a
Sauce
little bit
Gardner type of
smaller,
thing, right?
but
Yeah,
he's a shutdown guy. And if you're asking him to guard the second receiver on your team, forget about it.
right.
He's good.
And then you're looking at C.J. Mosley in the middle, just directing the whole field. Like this team is a top 3 defense, if not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you
in
got
my
a good
opinion,
point.
it's a top 3 defense.
Everyone's focused on offense, and really the defense is still probably going to be the heart of the team. I mean, they're going to be better probably than the offense is going to be.
Yeah,
Everyone's focused on Rodgers and them, but
yeah, you guys saw that Hard Knocks, right? I mean, when our defensive coordinator is telling the whole room, we're going to be in games, guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like look at what he does on the field. Like we are going to be in games, no matter if it's a short third down or a long third down. Like it's going to be situational games that we can probably get the ball back, right? So if we're in a position where we're losing on that third down, and we have to punt the ball away, we're still in the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that defense can get us back. So yeah, it's definitely refreshing to hear.
For sure. Hey guys, hey man, listen man, you guys are like 2 peas in a pod, man. I mean, y'all lay so much out, man. I got a little tear eye, bro.
hey
I'm
man,
hoping.
you asked us
Hey,
to do a
look,
Jets thing, so you
look,
get what you asked
listen.
for.
That's it. I'm because it's kind of equivalent to what I'm going through as a Commanders fan. Hopefully, this new era, like you guys, a little bit new era. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys are best. We're gonna stop and with all that, and I wish you guys, Jets to get that, step to the next level. I hope Delvin, does wonders with you guys, and now.
Appreciate it.
And I'm gonna go with FFL. We gotta talk about FFL. Connor, we already had your feedback. Rob, you just like obviously like Connor, man, in the league ever since reestablished in 2020. Okay.
Yep.
You went to the Super Bowl year two in the Super Bowl. Obviously, you didn't come out to win. Cherry took the win.
Yeah.
But look,
Cherry
man,
took the
listen,
win.
you a dog, okay? Obviously you break even so far in 3 years. You're 14-14. Not bad. Okay, not bad. If you compare that with some other cornballs, it's definitely ain't bad. Now what I mean by the other cornballs, the ones where they're booted, they're out.
Booted out.
They're out. So I want to ask you. Obviously, you're gonna say yourself, who do you think, or what type of players are on your radar in the FFL that might give you a little trouble and might be with you against each other in the chip?
Definitely Connor, honestly.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
if you look at what Connor has done in the past few drafts,
Right.
With him picking last, I mean, picking towards the later half of the rounds, it's pretty difficult, right? Because you're not getting your top tier guys, which means you have to be more cerebral about your draft, right? You have to be more focused on how the chips are going to fall to you, right? And and having a draft strategy. So I know that Connor can do that. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on Connor. What's the other guy? Abusement Park. I mean, he had a solid year last year. He's coming back this year. You as well. Hopefully you don't draft two, 3 kickers this year, but definitely looking out for you.
Did. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen.
Hey, listen, strategy, bro.
Terry
Strategy.
McLaurin in the first round.
Oh no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Look, like I'm like you guys, man. I don't
Past
get
those
involved
days.
with the whole. I don't get involved with. We're not in high school. At high school, Reeves and all of that. Sanchez. We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna draft them like that. So, okay, Rob. I mean, thank you for your feedback, and obviously we'll see each other in within a week. And I want to let you guys. Yeah, can't wait, man. Can't wait. This week. The week got to be quick, and I hope you guys all the best, nothing but the best. Good luck, in the draft when I see you guys, and good luck to the Jets and the new addition with Dalvin Cook, man.
Yep,
Appreciate it, dog.
JETS.
For
Jets,
sure.
Jets.
That's it.
Jets, bro. All
Guys,
right, haters.
follow us on YouTube at the FFL, the only the FFL, and more podcasts to come with NFL players and coaches, man. Take care, guys.